tour is described in a book called the Navadvipa Mahatmya, which was written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who is the grand spiritual master of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the great grand spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada. And he was the rediscoverer of Mayapur, the appearance site of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, uh, as you might know, how many islands are there in Navadvip?
Nine.
Very good, very good. Yes, Navadvip. So we'll be going through all the 9 islands, but in the beginning, there's there's a little bit of a discussion that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur included about the general glories of Navadvip Dham that we're going to briefly review before we begin on the parikrama itself. So before starting, it's important for us to offer our respectful obeisances to our preceptors and to Lord Chaitanya. So you can chant along with me if you would. Either, I guess you're on mute mostly, but let's do this. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharini. Then the prayer to Bhaktivinoda Thakur goes, Namo Bhaktivinodaya Satchidananda Namane Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanugavarayate. Means, I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Satchidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who is the transcendental energy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and is a strict follower of the 6 Goswamis headed by Rupa Goswami. Bancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Then a prayer to Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. This is in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. It goes, Bande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Godau Daye Pushpabanto Chitra Shando Tamaunudo. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and moon. They have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Gauda, just to dissipate the darkness of ignorance and to wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. Hare Krishna. So I don't know if we have I think we have a digital copy of this Navadvipa Mahatmya, so perhaps we can put that up there if we can. Chapter 1. There's 2 parts of this book. The first part is called the Parikrama Kanda, and the other part is a description of scriptural evidence which has supported many of the statements that are given in the Parikrama Kanda. So at the beginning, it's understood that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that he was specifically requested by the devotees of Lord Chaitanya to compile this book to describe the glories of the abode of Lord Chaitanya, Navadvip Dham. And he says there that before the advent of Lord Chaitanya, references to Navadvip in the Shastras were covered. We finished that part, yeah. Were covered by Maya Devi herself. And who is Maya Devi? Who knows?
Durga.
Yes. And she's also a servant of Krishna, of Lord Chaitanya. So after Lord Chaitanya's disappearance, under the order of Lord Nityananda, she was ordered to remove the covering of from the eyes and from the scriptures, so that people could begin to appreciate and understand the transcendental greatness of the abode of Lord Chaitanya. So here in this first chapter, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that people all over the universe who are intelligent and who are spiritualists are interested in developing Krishna Bhakti and Krishna Prema. But even so, so many people are trying to get that Krishna Bhakti and Krishna Prema. Very, very few actually develop it. And why is that? Any ideas?
Because we are lost in the materialistic world.
Yes, and some other and some specific something even more specific. Yes.
Not pure chanting.
Yes. Something more.
We make offenses.
Yes, very good, very good. It's because we're covered. We have so many offenses to Radha and Krishna that it's very difficult to make progress in Krishna consciousness to develop our Krishna prema. But the special quality of Gauranga and Lord Nityananda, and the special energy and mercy of Navadvipa Dham is that by chanting the name of Gauranga and Nityananda, and by taking and appreciating Navadvipa Dham, the offenses are dissolved when you chant Gauranga Nityananda and take shelter of Navadvipa. So that makes love of Krishna or Krishna Prema readily available for those people who are fortunate to contemplate and take shelter of Lord Chaitanya, Nityananda, and Lord Chaitanya's place of birth and activities in Navadvipa Dham. So in this first chapter, it's also said that whatever is obtained from visiting all the other holy places. We just heard in the Bhagavad Gita that in order to practice yoga, where were you supposed to do that?
In a sacred place.
Yes, a holy place, right?
Yeah.
So it said that, he says here that you can travel to all the holy places, and the benefit of traveling to all the holy places you can get simply by remembering Navadvipa Dham. That's pretty striking, isn't it?
Mm.
In addition, he says that in the Kali Yuga, the strength and the potency of other holy places tends to be weakened. Only Navadvipa Dham, the appearance and place of activities of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, remains strong for the benefit of all the living entities. So those are very, very significant things to start off with when he's talking about the glories of Navadvipa Dham. So this is under general glorification. Next, we'll go for the next chapter. It's the same chapter there. Yes. Yeah. The measurement and form of the Dham. We have a slide thing too. I don't know where we can put it, but so the whole area in which Navadvipa Dham is situated is called Gauda Mandala. Have you heard that before? The big circle, Gauda Mandala, 168 miles around. And if it's 168 miles around, what's the diameter? 168 divided by pi, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it? Come on, you math. Come on, you math people. Anyway, so that's the whole area all around this, but within the center of Gauda Mandala is the area of Navadvipa, these 9 islands, Navadvipa. And Navadvipa circumference is 32 miles. 32 miles around all 9 islands. with a diameter of roughly 10 miles. The central island, their islands are made by different branches of rivers. The main river is a main branch of the Ganges, which you see coming down north to south there. And the other smaller branches are other branches of the Ganges and other rivers that form 9 islands there. Somebody's got to. On the I know somebody muted me. I don't know why. You want me to be anyway? On the eastern side of the Ganges, there are four islands. You see that one, Antardweep? Antardweep is the central island. It's sometimes called like the center of the flower. Or sometimes in some ways in botany, they call it the whirl because everything comes out from there, the Antardweep. And within Antardweep is the place of Mayapur where Lord Chaitanya appeared in the home of Jagannath Mishra and Srimati Sachi Devi. You know another name for the place where Lord Chaitanya appeared other than Mayapur?
Yoga Pit.
Yes, Yoga Pit. So there's these different names. So you don't want to get too distracted by that. So Antardweep is the central island, and the other islands there are considered like the petals, an 8-petaled lotus with Antardweep as the center. And there's this particular method to do the parikrama of Navadvip, which is given in the Shastras and repeated by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. One should first take darshan at Jagannath Mishra and Mother Sachi's house in Antardweep at the Yoga Pit. And then travel, we're going to go clockwise, not counterclockwise, but clockwise, first to Simantadweep. We're not going to go this way fast. We're not going to go, we'll stay on this picture. Yeah, thanks. Simantadweep, then Godrum Dweep, Madhyadweep, crossing the Ganges, see? Then on the western side, there's 5 islands, Kola Dweep, Ritu Dweep, Janu Dweep, Modadum Dweep, Rudra Dweep, and then back to Mayapur Antardweep and taking darshan of Lord Chaitanya once more. That's how it's supposed to be done. And the best time to do this parikrama, any ideas when the best time to do it is?
Now,
Right now.
Right
That's
now.
right now. Before, just the days before the appearance day of Lord Chaitanya, and we're supposed to arrive back at Antardweep on the Gaur Purnima day. So we got it together here a little bit, which is very good. Now, it's very interesting that in all of these places, all of these dvipas, there are all kinds of very interesting and memorable activities that the Lord had with his devotees in the Gauranga incarnation, in the Krishna incarnation, in the Ram incarnation, all over the years. So some activities were done by the Pandavas, some were done by Lord Ramchandra, all in this area took place. And so as we go from one island to another, we'll be hearing about those activities and meditating on Lord Chaitanya and his relationship with all the different avatars, because Lord Chaitanya, being identical with Krishna himself, is called avatari. Avatari means, you know what that means? The source of all incarnations. Yeah. So he knows about this. So I'm going to read now from the last part of chapter 2 before we begin our tour. Okay. This is the last third from the last paragraph of chapter 2. Gauranga said, last part of chapter 2, yeah. Yeah, you passed it. Yeah, there it is, bottom. Lord Gauranga said, without considering who is fit and who is unfit in this incarnation, I will freely distribute the treasure of love, which is rarely attained by even Lord Brahma. I will see how Kali can destroy these living entities. I will manifest Navadvip Dham and break the poison teeth of Kali by performing congregational chanting of the holy names of God. As long as my name is sung, Kali will be controlled. Saying this, Gaudhari appeared in the beginning of Kali Yuga in Navadvip by his own internal spiritual potency. Withdrawing the covering of illusion, Gaura Chandra revealed his eternal pastimes in Gaura Mandala. I see no one in Kali Yuga more unfortunate than the lamentable, wretched person who does not worship such a merciful Lord as Sri Chaitanya, or who rejects such an inconceivable dham as Navadvip. Therefore, give up all other desires and attractions and simply fix your mind on Navadvip Dham. Aspiring for the shade of the lotus feet of Nimai and Janava, Bhaktivinoda reveals these truths. Okay. So we talked a little bit about the procedure. Here we're going to review that. And this is the procedure. It was given by Lord Nityananda here. This is the meeting, because this book is really describing how Lord Nityananda gave the same parikram tour to a great devotee named Jiva Goswami, one of the 6 Goswamis. So here in this chapter, we'll read this chapter, and it describes how they met and how they began this parikrama. All glories to Lord Chaitanya, the moon of Navadvip Chandra, and all glories to Mother Shachi, all glories to Nityananda Roy, the Avaduta, all glories to Sri Advaita Prabhu, all glories to Gadadhar, Srivas, all glories to Navadvip Dham, the essence of all dhams which advented along with Gaur Chandra. Now here, brothers, of the places I will describe within the 16 kroshas of Navadvip Dham. 16 kroshas, each krosha is 2 miles, so that's 32 miles is the circumference there. There eternally exist 16 rivers within the 16 krosha area of Navadvip. On the eastern bank of the main Ganges are 4 islands, and on the western bank there are 5. The different tributaries of the Ganges surround these islands and give the Dham its splendor. The main Ganges always flows in the middle, while other pious rivers flow in various tributaries. Near the Ganges flows the beautiful Jamuna, and the Saraswati flows within another river. East of the Jamuna are the long streams of Tamraparni, Kritamala, and the Brahmaputra. The Sarayu, Narmada, Sindhu, Kaveri, Gomati, and Godavari flow swiftly throughout the breadth of Navadvip. All these rivers intersect to form the 9 different islands of Navadvip. Following the desires of the Lord, sometimes the streams dry up, and then again, by his wish, they flow with water. By the Lord's wish, sometimes places become covered with water, and by his wish, they again become visible. In this way, the Dham endlessly enacts this Leela, but the same Dham remains always manifest to the fortunate living entity. If a devotee has an acute desire in his heart, all the islands and rivers will become visible. By devotion, the Dham is sometimes visible in dreams, meditation, or to the naked eye. So just a point, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he rediscovered this area after it had been covered for some time by flooded waters. And apparently, as he says, a sincere devotee can see that even though it's been covered in its dreams and meditation. So that must have been what was happening with Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. The island which lies at the junction of the Ganges and Jamuna, is known in the Shastras as Antardvip. Within Antardvip lies the holy sanctuary of Mayapur, where Lord Chaitanya appeared. Know, devotees, that Mahavan, the center of Goloka, is none other than Mayapur in Navadvip. Svetadvip, Vaikuntha, Goloka, and Vrindavan reside in Navadvip at all times. The holy cities Ayodhya, Mathura, Maya, Haridwar, Kashi, Kanchi, Avanti, Ujjain, and Dwaraka are always present in their own places within Navadvip. The city of Maya at Gangadhar has its original form as Mayapur in Navadvip Dham. The glories of this particular place are profusely sung in the scriptures. That person who once visits Mayapur is easily freed from the bondage of Maya. One who walks throughout Mayapur is freed from the influence of Maya and the repetition of birth. North of Mayapur lies Simantadvip. Sadhu and Shastra have explained the rules of Parikrama. After having darshan of Mayapur and Antadvip, learned devotees go to Simantadvip. Next, one should go south of Mayapur to Godrumdvip, then one should joyfully go to Madhyadvip. And after seeing these 4 islands on the east bank, one should reverently cross the Ganges. Having walked around Koladvip at leisure, then take darshan at Ritudvip, and after seeing the most beautiful Janudvip, go see Modadvip and then Rudradvip. Then again cross the Ganges and walk back to Mayapur. There, respectfully enter the temple of Jagannath Mishra and Shachi Devi and take darshan of the Lord. This is the procedure of parikrama for all times. One who follows this practice will obtain unlimited happiness. Everyone considers the best time for performing parikrama is the Titi of Makara Saptami until the full moon or Purnima of Palguna, which is coming up when?
Sunday.
That's right.
28.
After finishing parikrama, fortunate persons take darshan at Mayapur on the birthday of Lord Chaitanya. We could probably arrange for this digitally, hopefully. What do you think? I think we can do that, yeah. Nitai and Chaitanya bestow their mercy and shade of the lotus feet on those persons who thus attain the qualification to execute devotional service. Briefly, I've described the rules for parikrama, and now I will describe everything in detail. Therefore, please listen. Whoever walks around the 168 miles of Gauda Mandala will quickly obtain the treasure of Gauda Prema. Desiring to obtain the shade of the lotus feet of Janava and Nitai, Bhaktivinoda reveals these truths. Now here we have Srila Jiva hears about Navadvip Dham. All glories to Lord Chaitanya, all glories to the moon of Navadvip, the son of Mother Sachi, all glories to Nityananda Roy, the Avadhut, all glories to the topmost Dham, Navadvip, where Sri Chaitanya advented. Whatever benefits are obtained by residing in all other tirthas can be achieved by staying in Navadvip for only 1 day. Listen, O saintly people, as I sing the descriptions of Navadvip Parikrama, referring to scripture, the statements of Shastra, the words of the Vaishnavas, and the teachings of the Lord. These 3 are my life. Taking shelter of these 3, I will describe the rules for circumambulating Navadvip. Listen, everyone. When Sri Jiva Goswami, as a young man, left his home in Chandradvip, that's not one of these 9 islands, in great eagerness, he cried out, Nadia, Nadia. As he traveled along the paths, he lamented with tears flowing from his eyes like streams. Oh, Gaurango Nityananda, you are the life of the living entities. When will you show mercy on me and give me your darshan? Again and again he exclaimed, Oh, Navadvip, topmost of all dhams, when will I see you? It was a startling sight to see this young, attractive form of Jiva who was practicing extreme renunciation. His heart was always full of ecstatic love as he traveled along. Then, after some days, he arrived at Navadvip. Seeing the city from a distance, he offered his dandavats and nearly lost consciousness. This is a good thing you can do if you see. Okay. After some time, he regained his composure and, trembling in ecstasy, even if you don't tremble in ecstasy, that's okay, he entered the town of Navadvipa. When he came to Barakorna Ghat, he asked, "Where's Nityananda Prabhu? Let me see him." One devotee saw the elevated emotional state of Jiva Goswami and offered to take him where Nityananda was staying. At that time, Nityananda, in great ecstasy, began roaring with laughter on perceiving that Jiva was coming to him. As Nityananda ordered his servants to bring Jiva there, many Vaishnavas went to call him. Upon seeing Jiva, whose body was filled with ecstatic symptoms, they could understand his identity. Filled with love, someone came forward to reveal the order of Nityananda Prabhu. Just on hearing the name Nityananda, Jiva fell to the ground unconscious. After a few moments, he got up and exclaimed, "Oh, I am greatly fortunate, though the lowest of men. I have received the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu." Offering his dandavats to those devotees with a glad heart, he said, "If you all show mercy to me, then I can get the mercy of Nityananda. This is the verdict of all scriptures." Do you agree with that? You get, Lord Chaitanya said, "Gopi Bharta Padakamalayo Dasa 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 Anudas." I'm just a servant of the servant of Krishna, the master of the gopis. So this is true. Seeing the good fortune of Jiva Goswami, some of the Vaishnavas took the dust from his feet on their heads with great celebration. Then they all took him to Nityananda's place. Nityananda was surrounded by devotees as he spoke about Krishna. Seeing that transcendental form of Nityananda, Jiva's body was transformed with extraordinary emotions. "What a wonderful form I am seeing today," he exclaimed, and fell unconscious. Swayed by great compassion, Nityananda lifted Jiva up and accepted him as his own. Jiva was overcome with emotion. He stood with his hands folded and he began to speak to his Lord. "You are the form of the universe, the abode of the universe, Balaram. Being an insignificant living entity, what can I know of your qualities? You are my eternal master. I am your servant. My only aspiration is the shade of your lotus feet. That person who receives your mercy easily obtains the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya and drowns in the water of prema. Without your mercy, no one will get Gaur, even if he worships Gaur for 100 lifetimes. Sometimes Gauranga may punish someone, but you will protect him. But if you punish someone, Gaura will never accept him. Therefore, Lord, only on the strength of my past devotional activities, I take shelter of your lotus feet. Be merciful and give permission that I may receive the darshan of Gauranga and gain attachment for him." It's 6 o'clock right now. We didn't even get to the first island of Antardvip, but I think we're supposed to. So you get the idea. Jiva Goswami is going to meet with Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, and then Lord Nityananda will just talk to him about devotional service, and then begin him on the parikrama, starting with Antardvip Dham, which we'll do tomorrow, which will be fun.
Thank you.
Are these islands for real?
I'm sorry. How many more pages, Prabhuji? Can we do more? A little bit, if it's 5 more minutes. I don't know.
That's up to the boss, whoever the boss is.
You the how many pages?
Well, this chapter goes another 1.5 pages.
So I'm
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Please go for it.
Okay.
We'll stay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it
Yes.
might be good to finish this chapter and then we can start it.
Yes.
Okay, good. When Gauranga came to Ramkeli and accepted my uncles, that was Rupa and Sanatan, because Rupa and Sanatan had another brother named Anupama, who was the father of Jiva Goswami. When Gauranga came to Ramkeli, which is also in Bengal, and accepted my uncles, I was a young child. At that time, my eyes filled with tears as I saw Gauranga's form, which since then always appears in my mind. I fell and offered obeisances at Gauranga's feet, and I became something. I can't see down below. And I became filled with happiness as I touched his body. At that time, the Lord told me to study the scriptures, and after finishing studies, go to Navadvip, where I would attain everything at the lotus feet of Nityananda Prabhu. Although I am insignificant, I took that order on my head and acquired as much knowledge as I could. But though I studied all the books in Chandradvip, I could not get a suitable Vedanta teacher. The Lord ordered me to study Vedanta and reveal Krishna Bhakti conforming with the Vedanta Sutras. So I have come to Navadvip to your lotus feet. Whatever you order, I will obey. By your order, I will go to Jagannath Puri and study Vedanta under Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Why would he study Vedanta under Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya? Any idea? Bhakti Shan, no? No?
Because Lord,
He couldn't find anyone else.
Good, but no. Was that Dronacharya?
because Lord Chaitanya instructed.
Yes.
Acharya on Vedanta.
Lord Chaitanya instructed Sarvabhauma on Vedanta. Therefore, she was going to, Upon hearing the sweet words of Jiva, Nityananda Prabhu embraced him and, unable to contain himself, began weeping. Listen, Jiva, to these confidential words. Rupa and Sanatan know all the philosophy. The Lord ordered me to tell you not to go stay in Puri. Everyone knows you, and your two uncles are pure servants of the Lord. You and your two uncles. The Lord ordered that you go to Varanasi, that's Benares, Kashi, and thoroughly study Vedanta under Madhusudana Vachaspati. That's Sarvabhauma's brother. From there, go to Vrindavan, where you get the mercy of Rupa and Sanatan. Under Rupa Goswami's direction, worship their lordships Radha and Krishna, and thoroughly discuss scriptures such as Vedanta. You should preach that Srimad Bhagavatam is the topmost scripture and the natural commentary on Vedanta Sutras. Previously, Lord Chaitanya bestowed his mercy on Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and explained Vedanta to him. According to the Bhagavat tradition, Sarvabhauma then taught this carefully to Madhusudana in Puri. On the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Madhusudan Vachaspati now resides in Varanasi. Go there and meet him. Externally, he acts like a traditional Vedantist, and many followers of Sankaracharya study under him. Gradually, however, he gives them mercy by teaching them the precepts of Gauranga through Vedanta Sutra. What's that called? What's that called? You might call it bridge preaching, right? At this time, there is no necessity for a separate commentary on the Vedanta Sutras, for the Bhagavatam explains all the sutras. When there will be a need for another commentary, Sri Govinda Bhashya will be revealed. Along with Sarvabhauma, Gopinath Acharya heard the Lord's commentary. Later, by the wish of Sri Chaitanya, Gopinath Acharya will take birth as Baladev Vidyabhushan. Then he will conquer Jaipur with his philosophical commentary. In Jaipur, he will serve Gauranga by writing the Govinda Bhashya and thus free all living entities from material bondage. Your two uncles, Rupa and Sanatan, will tell you all these confidential topics. Upon hearing Nityananda Prabhu speak, Jiva Goswami began weeping and fell to the ground unconscious. Nityananda then bestowed his mercy on Jiva by putting his two lotus feet on his head, thereby giving him spiritual strength. Jiva then began dancing in that assembly of Vaishnavas while chanting, Jai Shri Gauranga, Jai Nityananda Rai. Witnessing the display of Nityananda's mercy, Srivas Thakur and the other devotees present all began dancing and chanting, Shri Gauranga Nityananda. The place resounded with great spiritual vibration. After some time, Jiva controlled his dancing and Nityananda had him sit down nearby. Jiva stayed at Srivasa's place, but in the evening he again came to see Nityananda Prabhu. As Nityananda was sitting alone, seeing the glories of Lord Gauranga, Jiva came forward and fell at his lotus feet. Nityananda was very particular to make Jiva sit very close to him. Jiva, however, became very aware of his own miserable condition. He folded his hands and said, Lord, be merciful to me and describe the essential truths about Navadvip Dham. Lord Nityananda said, Oh, Jiva, I will tell you, but you should keep these deep topics within your heart. Do not broadcast them here and there just yet. They will be propagated after our Lord completes his manifest pastimes. This Navadvipa is the best of dhams. Crossing over the Biraja river and the Brahman effulgence beyond the Vaikuntha planets, one comes to Svetadvip, Sri Golok. Penetrating further, one comes to Gokul Vrindavan or Krishna Lok. Now here's a very important part. That Krishna Lok exists in two states of emotion. Rasa expands there in the form of Madhurya and Odharya, sweetness and munificence. Audharya exists within Madhurya in fullness, and Madhurya exists within Audharya in fullness, but that place where Madhurya is the chief state is known by fortunate persons as Vrindavan. And that place where Audharya is eternally predominant is called Navadvip in all the Vedas. There is no difference between Vrindavan and Navadvip, only the different manifestations of Ras make them distinct. The Dham is eternally perfect, fully spiritual, and unlimited. Those whose intelligence is tinged with dull matter cannot approach there. But under the guidance of the Hladini Shakti, the energy governing bliss, the living entities give up material paths and by the strength of perfect knowledge attain their eternal spiritual activity of devotional service there. The whole of Navadvip is a spiritual manifestation, for at this holy place, Sri Gauranga performed his transcendental activities. People with material vision see Navadvip as made of material elements. For them, Maya covers the eternal Dham. Actually, Maya does not exist in Navadvip, for it is not a material place influenced by time, nor are the living entities there subject to material troubles. But as the living entity becomes bound by his fruitive activities under illusion, he perceives the Dham to be a material place. Thus, I have related the truth of Navadvip Dham. O Jeev, please consider all this with a pure heart. Aspiring for the shade of the lotus feet of Nitai and Janava, Bhakti Vinod reveals these confidential topics. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Vishnu-Gada Prabhu.
Ibo, Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What a wonderful day to begin the
Beautiful.
parikrama. So we'll reconvene tomorrow at 5:30. Same Zoom channel. We look forward to seeing everybody. We'll continue throughout the week until Friday. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you tomorrow. Haribol.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Bye.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.